Good evening, leaders. Just want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you for this session. Good to see Brian, to see Beldina, David Okello, and Mil Kandumia. And I trust you can hear me well. Probably if you can just give me a thumbs up, I'll be able to confirm that we are communicating well. Then we'll be able to take it up from. Good. Thank you. I can see Milka, you're saying okay. Beldina, okay. David, you're okay. Brian, I trust you can also hear me well from your end. Yeah, so it's a pleasure. Tonight we are going to have a very, very interesting discussion. And I believe that you have your notebook ready with you. There'll be quite a lot of our take home and some areas of reflection that we can be able to probably even follow up after our discussion tonight. Milka, I don't know if you're in a place where you can be able to open with a word of prayer, if it's possible.
Yes, I can.
Okay,
please. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Our Father and our God, we want to thank you. We want to worship and honor your name. We bless your name, Father, because of the way you've taken good care of us. You have been with us. You have protected us. You've preserved us. Thank you, Jesus, even for the gift of salvation, the gift of family, and the gift of children that you've given us. We just want to honor you tonight. Thank you, Father, for convening us tonight, making a way for us to be here tonight, to be taught of you. So tonight we are humbled before your presence. We ask that, Lord, you may inspire us by your Holy Spirit, that you may show us the knowledge of your will, that in whatever we do tonight, it shall bring glory and honor to you. So we open up our minds, we open our spirit, even to receive from you and from our teacher, oh God. Thank you, Father, for our teacher, Mr. Kiari, tonight, what you have prepared him to deliver to us tonight. We pray that, Father, you may energize him, you may strengthen him, and that in all this, our lives will be changed at the end of the matter. I want to thank you for every one of us, and if at all there's others who are on the way, that Lord, you quicken them, you make a way for them. And this session, we want to cover it with the blood of Jesus. We want to declare that no weapon fashioned against this session that is going to prevail. We want to come against disruptions and all kinds that try to derail us from what we want to achieve. We want to call for calmness. We want to call for peace. We want to call for the peace that surpasses human understanding, that it shall rule and reign in our lives tonight. Father, we bless you and we honor you. So Holy Spirit, we welcome you as we begin. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. We'll do a quick recap. And tonight we want to make it a little bit different. So I want us to do a recap in pairs. So I'll create a group of 2 people. And then from that, I think I'll just create one group because I'm not sure all of us are able to. Let me create a group of just one. So you just take some 5 minutes to recap on what we discussed last week, whatever you can recall as a team, and then after 5 minutes, we'll come back and just be able to share. Let me see. Brian, are you able to communicate well? I see if I can make 2 groups. Okay. Since I'm not very sure about Brian, I'll prepare a group of 1. So we'll have Milka, we'll have Beldina, we'll have Okello in that group. And then you can just discuss for 5 minutes. And one of you probably Maybe Milka, since you have started our talk tonight, you can guide that discussion and the recap. Then after 5 minutes, we'll come back and continue. So allow me just to activate the group for 5 minutes. So we'll recap on lesson 7 and lesson 8. Okay, so just a minute, 5 minutes. Or we can make it, let's make it 7 minutes. Okay, so let's just join the group, have a recap for 7 minutes, and then come back and continue. Okay, welcome back, leaders. And maybe straight away, we can just listen through the highlight of your discussion. And I don't know if it's Milka or whoever will take us through. Please just proceed.
Okay. We have looked at leadership development phases, and we have just been able to identify the 3 phases. That is preparing for leadership, then leading and giving back. Then we have dwelt on the preparation for leadership, because here is where we have self-leadership. And there is a popular saying that if you can't lead yourself, you'll never be able to lead others. So we have said that in this phase, this is where you need to read more, you need more exposure, you need to work with people who have been good leaders. And we are saying that if we don't take time here in self-leadership, then the rest would come crumbling down. So it is of very importance that this foundational level, that a leader really develops themselves in the right way. And we have said that once you develop yourself as a leader, then leading becomes easier. And then also it's like you'll be able to get to the 2 other phases almost together, because as you lead well, people are learning from you, they are learning from your wisdom, and they're able to do it. Then we have also looked at the qualities and characteristics of self-leadership, and that is developing yourself, influencing yourself, and you have a vision, making intentional choices, being self-motivated intrinsically, being a team leader, making own and the right choices, and modeling, and of course, being aware of yourself, self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-belief. Then in Unit 7, we looked at the evolution of leadership, and most importantly, the last one, which is the servant leadership, because that is the one that Jesus modeled to us. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for the recap, and thank you for the team. Yeah, that gives us an overview of our discussions last Saturday. And today we are embarking now on lesson 9 and lesson 10. In a way, it will be a marathon, but engaging. These are very, very important topic when it comes to issues of leadership, because now we are in level 2. Level 1, we were focusing on just creating an environment of self-discovery as we try to align to our strength. That has been the key discussion in level 1. And I remember when we were discussing about identifying your vital few, the few things or an area of focus as a person that gives you the maximum impact. And that is the area that we need now to develop more, because it's an area that we tend to flow. It's an area that it's connected. We are part and parcel of whatever we are doing. For Generational Leadership Network, when it comes to issues of leadership, this is our niche. So this is where we feel we are able to flow, we're able to make more impact, and therefore zooming down to that at the end of the day adds more value to society. So that's the thinking that informed our level 1, just to help us create an environment of self-discovery. And I think it's something that we need to keep on revisiting until you are able to have that clear picture. If you already have it, now it's a matter of building on it. If you already had it even before joining the class, I'm sure we have created some more light, and we're able to build around that. So allow me just to proceed to lesson 9. And lesson 9, we are talking about the role of leadership. What is the role of leadership? There are so many roles that leaders play. And even if we are to share here tonight, I'm sure all of us will share from our own perspective, our own experience, based on what you are undertaking or whatever you are doing as a leader. What is your role as a leader, where you are, and what is the basic understanding of roles of leadership. So as we discuss this, I'll open the chat again. Just feel free to share at your pace what you feel probably are the roles that leaders play. And as we do this, there's this story, the story about these 2 soldiers. And it's an interesting story that people look at it from different perspectives. So I want us to reflect on this story. It will build our discussion both for lesson 9 and also part of lesson 10. If you read through with me, the story goes like this. A new camp commander was appointed, and while he was taking the tour, just moving around the camp, inspecting the place, he saw these 2 soldiers you are seeing there, and the soldiers were guarding a bench. So he went and asked them why they were guarding that bench. They said, "We don't know. The last commander told us to do so, and so we have been doing this because we were instructed to do so. It is some sort of regimental tradition." So this commander went on and searched for the last commander's phone and called him to ask why. He instructed the guards to guard the bench. So this commander also said, "I don't know. The previous commander had guards and I kept the tradition." So they went back another 3 commanders, and he found now 100-year-old retired general. So he asked him, "Excuse me, sir, I'm now the commander of the camp that you commanded 60 years ago. And I found these 2 men assigned together a bench. Could you please tell me more about the bench?" And the commander was surprised. "What? Is the paint still wet? Is the paint still wet?" You can get the gist of that story. 60 years ago, this commander left, and this bench had been painted and it was wet, so instructed some soldiers to guard it. And 60 years down the line, the tradition continues until we had someone who was able to question and get to the back of the story. Why are you guarding the bench? And you see now what we are getting from this story. And I don't know what speaks to you, because every time we engage in this story, we always get new perspectives. From a leadership perspective, what message do you see from this? What message do you see from this story? What key aspects can you highlight from this story? So let's just maybe have two reflection. then we can sum it up, and it will still inform part of our discussion. So we can have 2 volunteers just to mention your reflection and what message comes across when you read this story together. I know there are some who are not able to speak but because of where you are. You can also use the chat. But if you can have 2 volunteers just to unmute and mention something, we'll pick it up from there.
I tend to think that there was a communication breakdown. First of all, the leader, the commander, did not explain the reason why the bench was to be guarded. It's only him who knew. Then, of course, the people he asked to, they also never asked why they were to guard it. So I think there was a communication breakdown, and a leader should be able to communicate clearly, leaving no doubts of what and why they are doing what is supposed to be done. So, yeah, and then of course we have seen people coming in also with the same mediocrity, so they also don't question. So to them, work is just routine. I'm just supposed to stand here, it's a routine. So they did not bother, they have not bothered much to ask or engage to know why they have to stand there. Maybe that's what I am thinking.
So the issue of communication breakdown, the issue of, we remember we talked about the what leader, the how leader, and the why leader. So this was sort of probably, if we are to classify them as leaders, they probably would be the what leader. So there's no much questioning. This is what you're supposed to do, and you say yes, sir, and you embark on the task. In the military language, we know that's a common thing. But again, at the end of the day, just imagine how much resources have been wasted. These soldiers would be doing something else, but over the years, they've been doing unnecessary work with all the resources, being paid salaries and all that. So communication breakdown, even in the transition. Beldina, I see your message. You are saying, I think that we sometimes do things without knowing the reason why we do it. We found people doing or practicing something, and then we continue. So the why leader becomes in hand here, and I think this at some point they got a why leader, and that's why they were able to uncover some of these issues, and probably now from this point forward, when they discovered this, maybe the soldiers were deployed to do some more meaningful work. Bernard Mwangi was saying lack of clear instruction as regards the job to be done and the timelines. Colonial mentality is often given in our current day public service. So it is true, I agree with all the input, communication gap. We have the issue of following traditions, and some of them probably are no longer productive. Some of them probably were to serve us in a particular season, and the season is over. Brian, you are saying it's also good to understand what you are doing, and more importantly, as we have said, the purpose behind. Yeah, the purpose. So understanding what, understanding how, and also understanding why. And I think as leaders, those are very important issues to clarify. And in communication, we'll be dealing later on with the issue of communication and what should come out clear in our communication. So just we'll refer on this as we embark on the role of a leader, the role of leadership. We discussed just a few of them. There are quite a number. One I will pick from Franklin Covey perspective. He talks about 4 roles leaders play. And if you play these roles well as a leader, you can highly predict your success. So as a leaders, consciously continue leading themselves and our teams in alignment with the roles that we're going to discuss, then they lay the foundation for effective leadership. So what are these 4 roles that Franklin Covey talks about? One of the critical role of a leader, according to him, is to create or cast a vision. Create or cast a vision. So we'll walk through this, also trying to reflect where we are as leaders in these particular roles. Now, creating or casting a vision, where am I as a leader, either to the organization or at a personal level? Is that clear? Number 2 is the issue of guiding execution or execute the strategy. So formulation of the strategy towards the vision, that is one of the critical role of a leader. And then we have the 3rd one, inspire trust, because we are working in a team environment. A vision, as we've been saying, it's bigger than a leader, it's bigger than one person, and therefore it requires that we are able to flow together as a team. And in a team, inspiring trust is important, and this is the work of a leader to ensure that there is trust among the team and they're also inspired. And then the 4th role is coach potential. Coach potential. A leader is able to see more, even in people before they're able to see it. And therefore, he's able to create an environment where we can coach potential from this team, maybe amongst our team. So these are the 4 roles, according to Franklin Covey. Create a vision, execute strategy, as well as inspire trust and coach potential. So when we are creating a vision or casting a vision, needs to be clear, clearly define where an organization or a team is going. And that picture, what is the picture? Today, I was discussing with a certain team on the same topic of leadership. And I was telling them, I think the first question that we need to ask any leader that is leading us, or if you're joining an organization and you have a leader, even before joining, it's that question of, can you see? And what can you see as a leader? So that I'm sure that you as a leader, you're able to see, so that we are clear, we are moving towards something that is definite, something that probably is compelling and is clearly cut out. So a leader must be able to see and then move on now to create a strategy to be able to move towards what we are seeing as leaders. Yeah, so consistently achieve results with and through others using disciplined process. That is the issue of strategy. And then inspire trust. And here, the leader needs to be the credible leader others choose to follow. One with these 2 very important qualities, character and competence. And this character actually inspires trust, because when people know you are a leader of character, they can trust you. When they know you are competent, they can also trust you that you will be able to do your work well, and will also be able to do your work with purity of intention. There will not be hidden cards, there will not be manipulation, because you are a leader of integrity. So such a leader, people can trust such a leader. This discussion was also part of our talk today, and we were looking at the life of Jesus and why the disciples willingly followed him, leaving their businesses, leaving their families. And it was like, wow, this leader had something that compelled these successful businessmen to leave everything and embark on following him. So that's a leader that demonstrates some of the qualities we are talking about here today. That this is a leader of character, this is a leader of competence, who is competent. This is a leader that has demonstrated this is something that Jesus was able to do to them, and they saw the results. And they were saying, if he has been able to do this, probably, then he can even be able to do much. And we can be able to work together with such kind of a leader. And then coach potential, unleash the ability of a person on your team to improve performance, solve problems, and also grow their talents, abilities, and potential. So a leader is able to see more, probably even before someone can be able to see clearly what they have. Because sometimes we need that mirror, a mirror that really sees what we have and is able to the person is able to trigger some action so that we're able to develop that. So coaching potential. As a coach, we know and position people. We're able to equip and position them to be able to perform in their sport and do it well. So these are the 4 roles from Stephen Covey. Again, 1000ventures.com, they also came up with 12 roles of a corporate leader, but grouped them in 3 categories. So we'll try to reflect as we look at what Steve Covey came up with or was able to identify as roles of a leader. Let's try and also look at this, see the alignment. According to this source, there are 3 categories. 3 categories, broad categories of roles of a corporate leader. One is that leader, one of the role is visioning and leading the way. So as a leader, I need to vision and be probably set an example or be on the leading edge, be the person to navigate through towards that vision. So visioning and leading the way, creating an inspiring vision, inspiring and compelling vision with shared values, leading through the change and also setting the example. And the element of confidence. You need to develop the confidence of the people to the vision and also to the leader and to themselves. Yeah. So confidence to the vision, confidence to the leader, and confidence to themselves. Sometimes that assurance that I have seen where we are going, and I'm sure of this direction. I'm sure we're on the right track. It also ignites people to be able to trust that the leader is clearly aware of, or there's clarity of the vision, and also the people are able to buy into that. So visioning and leading the way. Then next we have empowering and energizing. So what a leader does here is to inspire and energize people. And inspire is among the 6 eyes of a leader. Remember the 6 eyes of a leader. So a leader inspires, and that inspiration comes from that clarity in terms of the vision. The visioning has been done well, and the leader is able to lead the way. So he creates an environment where he's able to inspire the team. And then empower people. Communication, remember we talked about communication. So communicate openly and clearly and timely. And then listen, support, and also be able to help the people. The third role is encouraging teamwork, because we've been talking about this from the very beginning. As a leader, I need a team to be able to help me to move towards the vision, as I also help them probably to be able to embark on their journey of leadership in their particular area. So encouraging teamwork. This comes with involving everyone where possible, and use a team approach. Visioning or birthing of a vision can come from a team approach, or it can come from what we call the Sinai approach. The Sinai approach is Moses' approach. Being somewhere, you've been able to see the vision, been able to be guided, then you come and share with the team. But again, there is that approach where a leader brings people together and say, let's discuss, let's clarify. This is what I can see, but not very clearly. Let's refine it and then embark together. That's a team approach. So encouraging teamwork, bring out the best in the people. The issue of democratizing the issue of decision making, and then monitor progress, but don't micromanage. So wisdom informs what to what level probably I need to manage the team, to what level again I need to democratize the issue of decision making. So these are the 3 categories according to the 1000ventures.com, and you can see they're aligned actually from these 2 sources. So just a highlight, I've already explained this, but just look through, you can see maybe what is outstanding here in these 3 categories. So create an inspiring vision and lead by example. So the vision has to be inspiring. Then there are shared values and the goals that are stretching, need to be stretched or stretch the team. Then vision will take us through a journey of change. So how do we manage change strategically? How do we deal with the resistance? Because as change comes in, things are shifting and sometimes there is some element of resistance. How do you deal with that? Lead by example, practicing what we are saying, and then demonstrate confidence that will help us win respect and trust without courting popularity. Then number two, or before we go to number two, the visioning. The visioning, just want to back it up with Proverbs 29:18, because it talks about the issue of vision and what happens when we lack vision. From this, we are able to see that where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint. You cannot be able to restrain those people. You cannot be able to probably even guide them. Where there is no vision, the people are uncontrolled. And not just the people, even the resources. The resources are uncontrolled. Our energies, yeah, and so many other things. They become uncontrolled. Actually, a vision simplifies life and it creates controls. So we know where our resources should go, where our time should, how our time should be spent, and there is that focus so that there is no wastage. So there's a quote here: the very essence of leadership is that you have to have a vision. Got to be a vision you articulate clearly, forcefully on every occasion. Then Henry Kissinger says the task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. They have not been. And sometimes it might be a challenge even to help people see, but consistently we are able to create that visual picture that will help now the people to embark on the journey. Remember the story I've been sharing about the Israelites from Egypt to Canaan? And that picture that Moses was able to paint, we are moving from this place. We are going to a place of our own, a land of our own, flowing with milk and honey. That picture was an inspiring picture. It's a picture that I'm sure it was for the good of everyone, the good of everyone. So where there's a vision, where there is no vision, we see what are the consequences. Even convincing people to serve becomes very, very hard. Okay, so then number two, empower, inspire, and energize people. We can scan through here and see what stands out. So we're saying to inspire, as a leader, I need to be enthusiastic. I also need to create a positive work environment. Delegate authority and be open to ideas. And also have the faith in creativity of others. Create an environment where people can exercise their creativity. The issue of communication, yeah, very important. And then empathize, be willing to discuss and solve problems, listen with understanding. Listen with understanding and provide support. Then we have finally build and lead a team. So you can use a team approach, facilitate cooperation, trust your team, or you can rely on their judgment. Again, we said the wisdom will guide us here. Bring out the best in our team, have a common touch with them, provide effective feedback. Again, monitor progress without micromanaging. Monitor progress without micromanaging. So we lead our team, we avoid sometimes maybe too close supervision. We don't overboss and we don't dictate. But again, remember, we talked about the styles of leadership and the maturity level. So if you are dealing with a team at maturity level 1, then we might need maybe some enhanced level of management. So it's you to be able to guess your team and see what fits for that team. Now, in summary, this is what we are saying, that the roles of a leader, or the role of a leader, if we put it in one, we're saying visioning of vision formation. This is casting the vision. vision planning, vision communication, vision execution, tracking and monitoring. Then we keep on reviewing the vision and seeing where do we need to improve on our vision. So this is what informs me as a leader. And I don't know where you are as an organization, maybe as an individual, maybe you're running your own venture. But again, remember, we've always been starting from self-leadership, and self-leadership starts with this, what we are discussing tonight, that I'm able to set a vision for myself so that wherever I am, I see where I plug in to the vision of other people. Maybe the vision in an organization, how do you plug in? If you're in a church or in any other Christian or whatever organization, again, you're plugging in, you're able to see how you're plugging in. For us, we plug in terms of leadership, So if we are collaborating in any organization, then to help champion their vision as we come in to equip leaders who are generational thinkers, who are purpose-centered, vision-driven leaders in those organizations, and in addition to their homes. So I don't know, leaders, what is your reflection for this session? I'm sure this is a very, very important discussion for each and every one of us. And I'll want just to probably also take some few minutes just to reflect, just to pause a bit, relook at what we have discussed, think through, try and see how you internalize and how you bring it to your personal level, and also maybe to the organization level. And to help us do that, we can take a break, and we'll have the break in groups, in two groups, just for 10 minutes. Then we think through, and then we can come back and see. So what is maybe your takeaway on this discussion, and what is outstanding from our discussion on this topic? I trust we are good, and if we are good, you can give me thumbs up as I create this group, so that we just go for 10 minutes, reflect together, and then come back as we discuss whatever we have shared. So I'll create two groups. Okay, just allow me to do this shortly. I don't know now if Beldina, you're able to communicate. You can let me know if you're able to do that.
Yes, good evening. I'm able to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now it's good. Now I can recreate the groups. Okay. Okay, so let's have 10 minutes just to reflect on what we have discussed. Then we'll come and share together on our reflection. So one of the members, please, when we open the group, just take the initiative to lead the teams. Then we'll discuss after 10 minutes. So please join the groups. Okay, welcome back, leaders. And I think straight away we'll just share our deliberations. And let me first invite room one. Room one, we had Mr. Mwangi. Brian, I think you are in two groups, so whatever group you engaged. And then we had Milka. So we can have.
We engaged him in group one. Eh?
Okay. Karibuni.
Brian, proceed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we have discussed on how a leader is supposed to inspire his teammates through just guiding the team and leading by example. And we were given a very good example by Beldina of how a headmaster of the school at the church was told just to resign because the school had recorded a poor performance in like 3 consecutive years. And the thing is, this leader probably would not or was not able to inspire the teachers to perform very well, and so by so doing, the school did not perform very well. When we are in our various spaces and we see that things are not working, and we are leaders, we should not look at what our juniors are doing, or probably it's something wrong that they are doing, but we should look at ourselves as leaders. What is it that we are not doing? Do we have the vision at heart in our leadership, and are we able to spread this out to our juniors and the people that we are leading? Um, so that is pretty much what we have discussed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rumwan. And that's a very interesting case because just remembered today discussion with the team that we were sharing the same. And we did a sample of how many of them could actually remember or have inscribed in them the vision of the organization they were working for. And it was very surprising because a high percentage, actually they didn't have that clear picture of the vision. And that also plays when it comes to ownership. And I think even the story you are sharing, because I'm sure there are people who are working in places, but there is no ownership of the vision of that organization. And sometimes you find probably people are also working for other objectives if again we are not able to align people to the overall objective. Just remember the story we shared at the beginning of level 1, the janitor and JF Kennedy. I think that is a story that always tries to really help us to make sure that we are aligned. And if we had time, we would have discussed that story a little bit more, the story about the headmaster. Remember, we said for us as leaders, we want to go beneath the iceberg so that we can unpack what was the root cause. What was the root cause before maybe making a decision. But we like that. Helped us just to be able to reflect and look maybe at things in a broader perspective. Remember the iceberg. We need to go beneath the iceberg to establish the root cause. So thank you, room 1. Let's move on to room 2.
Good evening, and just before I continue, I think it is Milka who was giving the story in group 1 about the headmaster. Brian mentioned my name, but
Pole.
Yes, it is
Pole about
Milka.
that.
that's
Yes,
okay.
Milka, not Beldina.
Yes,
Sorry.
that's fine. That's okay. So for us, what we were discussing is about there was also still the reflection about that story that you shared about the soldiers who are guarding the seat. And it is important that as leaders, you communicate clearly so that people would know why they need to do what they're doing. And then we were saying that leaders need to handle the vision. That is, when there's a vision, you will share that vision, communicate clearly, and then get people to buy into the vision. Then as a vision bearer, or the one who's in charge of the vision, you need to inspire trust among people. And you inspire that trust by leading by example. That is, you do what you want other people to do, not just telling them, but showing them the example that this is what I would like to be done. So there's need to inspire trust among the followers, and it is a conscious attempt. In other words, it's not something that is just happening by accident, but it is something that is intentional. So that when you're inspiring that trust, it must be something that is intentional. And then also the leader needs to be aware. That is, they need to have that self-awareness where you understand your personality. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? And then you must also understand the personality of the people that you are leading. Because sometimes if you don't understand your own personality and the personality of the people that you're leading, you may not be able to bring them on board to that idea or to the vision that may be in place. So understand yourself as a leader, your personality, and inspire that trust, and then also get an understanding, a clear understanding of the people that you are leading. We need to build the team. So build the team, and then you lead that team that you have. So there must be understanding. Understand yourself, understand the people that you're leading before you even now transmit that vision that you have to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Baldina, on behalf of the team. And probably just a question, how many of us are clear in terms of the vision, either the vision of the organization you work for or you own, or personal vision? How many of us can confidently say, I'm very, very clear. I know the vision, I have embraced the vision, I'm passionate about the vision, or even just from the beginning that I clearly know and understand the vision, because that is the beginning point. That's the beginning point. So I don't know where we are, because that is part of our discussion. So if you are working for an organization, are you clear about that the vision, and are you able to articulate that vision to other team in an inspirational way? Secondly, even if it's your own venture, is the vision clear? And probably is it well stipulated? You're able to articulate it passionately and in an inspirational manner. This is not a question maybe that I'll ask for an answer, but just to help us, so that if it's not clear, you can take some time just to review, look at it again. That's one of the exercises we were doing today with that team, because we realized, wow, we cannot work like this because we'll not be a team, because we all need to see that we are working towards a common vision and a common goal. So that's my take home for you, my take home for you. Think through. But what I'll request you to do on the chat, kindly share the vision of Generational Leadership Network in the way you understand it. Share on the chat in the way you understand, and then we'll look at it as we continue. So allow me just to move on. So clearly that the vision, I need to ensure as a leader, as a Y leader, I create the picture and I plan my journey towards the picture. That is the strategy. Again, I need to clearly make sure that I'm able to communicate. Yeah, and also lead the execution and help in the tracking, reviewing, reformation of the vision, and that the cycle continues. So as I do that for myself, I'm also able to help others to be able to go through the same experience. Now, so the leadership challenge for this lesson, we are saying leaders cast vision, inspire trust and hope, influence and impact positive change. And inspirational leaders plan with the head, but lead with the heart. A very important point there. So they appeal to people's hearts more than their minds. They influence through servant heart leadership. And John Maxwell, the law of connection, he says that effective leaders know that you first have to touch people's hearts before you ask them for a hand. Effective leaders know that you first have to touch people's hearts before you ask them for a hand. If the vision is clear and compelling, you have touched their hearts, and I'm sure getting support, enrolling people, creating an environment where people can subscribe to your vision will not be hard, because already their hearts are connected to the vision, and they see the good of everyone within that vision. So effective leaders know that you first have to touch people's hearts before you ask them for a hand. There are teams or groups of leaders, when we are discussing about this, we actually tell them, don't struggle with the hand, go for the heart. The hand is controlled, and it's controlled by the heart. So if we appeal to the heart, all the other elements will respond, including resources, including support, including involvement, and the rest. So remember that. So just take some time to think through about the roles of leadership, or the roles of a leader. And then we look at our place. So as a leader, what leadership roles are you playing to influence positive change in society, to create a better world? Probably even wherever we are, is there an extra initiative that we can be able to take to enhance our leadership and see that we are creating a better environment for the people that we are serving? So I'll share this on the link so that we can be able to look at it. So please continue sharing the vision of Generational Leadership Network. As we move on to lesson 10, we'll climax with lesson 10 tonight. And lesson 10, we are looking at redefining leadership. Now we want to get into a journey of what is leadership. How has leadership been defined? How various leaders looking at this topic of leadership. And in one of the comments that was shared by one of the participants in the self-evaluation form, the participant indicated that there is no one single definition for leadership. And I agree with that. Actually, we tend to look at some elements of leadership more rather than looking at just the definition of leadership. So we'll take a journey through this. If you are looking for a leader, yeah, who would you be willing to follow? Assume you're looking for a leader to maybe to work together with you, or to be able to subscribe to his or her vision. So what single quality, what probably one quality would you be looking at in that leader? That if I get this quality in this leader, I can willingly follow this leader. One quality of a leader that you can willingly follow. Yeah. Let's share that. I think let's look at that first before we move on. So integrity, that's David. So David, one quality is integrity. Beldina, one quality is integrity. Okay. Okay, let's see. So integrity is coming up twice. So Beldina and David, you are saying, if I get a leader of integrity, I will follow that leader. Brian, you're saying integrity. Milka, you're saying confidence. A leader who is confident, you can follow that leader. So as we discussed tonight, we will try to look at this from a different perspective. And the objective of this discussion is just to examine the different definitions by different authors, by different leaders, then be able to identify some common key elements of leadership. And then from there, we'll come up with 11 dimensions of leadership, or 11 dimensions or domains or perspectives of leadership. Yeah, so that we don't just look at leadership maybe from one angle, but we try to look at it from different approaches or different dimensions. And that is now what we are calling the redefinition of leadership. Rose, I can see you are saying a visionary leader. That's one that will be willing to follow. Now, 11 dimensions of leadership. Number one, the first dimension of leadership is that leadership, we look at it from a personal or self-leadership. So this is something that we've been talking about. Leadership is first personal, then public. And this brings ownership. It brings ownership. It brings involvement, that all of us, we have a leadership role. And it breaks that thinking of where people tend to think leaders are there and we are here. No, it's that all of us have a role to play in our own area, in our own domain. Remember the janitor had a role to play. So I think this is a message that we need to continue re-echoing even within our environment, that we all have a role to play because we are all self-leaders. So private victory precedes public victory, or private leadership precedes public leadership. Now, as we look at this, there's this quote that we've been looking at that also emphasizes this issue of personal leadership. And Professor Dr. Mohammed, he says that leadership is a function of knowing yourself. It comes to home as a person. Yeah, it's brought down to you as a person and to me as a person, knowing myself, then having a vision that is well communicated, then building trust among colleagues, and taking effective action to realize your own leadership potential as you also help others to do the same. So first, it's about knowing myself. That is a private part of the leadership that we are talking about. And the most effective way to lead is to lead from within, from a self-leader, a self-influence. That's the best way to be able to lead. Warren Bennis, he says that no leader sets out to be a leader. People set out to live their lives. And when they express themselves fully, and that expression is of value, they become leaders. And therefore, the point is not to become a leader. The point is to become yourself, to use yourself completely, or your skills, gifts, and energies in order to make your vision manifest. You must withhold nothing. You must, in sum, become the person that you started out to be, and to enjoy the process of becoming. It's all about becoming. When you become, then you create the influence. Yeah. And becoming here is the issue of when I'm able to express myself, I'm able to tap into that self that I've discovered, and I become that authentic person. I tap into the skills, I tap into the potential. Then I'm able to offer leadership naturally. So self-leadership impacts, or public leadership now is birthed from that transition. Now, second dimension is that leadership is servanthood, that natural consciousness that we are here to serve. Yeah, natural feeling that I am here to serve, and there is a space for me to be able to serve. Servanthood. The servant leader is servant first. So the servant leader does not set out actually to lead, but he sets out to serve. And it's that service that ushers the person to leadership. These are the leaders we sometimes call reluctant leaders. Yeah, reluctant. They are not looking for leadership, but because they are serving, they always find themselves in spaces of leadership. Yeah, so it begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings that person to aspire to lead. That person is very different from the one who is leader first. Those may be the one who says, elect me or select me as a leader, then I will serve you. That's a different person from the person who gets into service, then he's elevated into position of leadership. These two people will serve very different, and the quality of their leadership will actually also be different. So servanthood, J.F. Kennedy, this is, I think we've looked at this quote again, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. What service am I able to offer? Yeah, what service am I able to offer? There is a gentleman I've been following on Facebook. He started a program. He's calling it Uji program, or porridge program in Turkana. We've been very, very consistent, going there and making porridge in big spheres, serving the people. Now they're even doing some small scale farming there, trying to see how they can get water. And I think that's an initiative. That is someone who probably instead of looking just at the government and what the government is not doing, again, we looked at what can I also do at a personal level, even as we try to look at what the government can do, but at a personal level. So I think this is the thinking of a servant leader. So again, we are saying, ask not what others can do for you, but ask what you can do for others. That's service-oriented leader. The third dimension, I'll post that the fifth dimension just to also allow one or two reflection. So please, if you have any comment after I present the fifth one, we'll look at your comment, or we'll also listen through. And also maybe I'll also want to hear which dimension probably you feel has spoken to you strongly. The third dimension, leadership, is a lifestyle. So it's an everyday business, and also it's everyone's business. It's a lifestyle. It's something that we live out everywhere and every time. Yeah, there are cases, there are moments where you have heard people or leaders saying, I was in my private time and therefore I could maybe do whatever I did, especially if it's not something right. But again, we're saying the moment I'm a leader, I'm a leader. That garment, I don't remove it and then I become free and do what does not align to the principles of leadership. So it's an everyone's business and everywhere. James Stroke, everyone can lead because everyone can serve, and leadership infuses a leader's lifestyle. It's manifested in the actions, in the beliefs, values, and attitude of a leader. It infuses the lifestyle and leadership are actually one. And that's why we're saying leadership is a lifestyle. Number 4, leadership is coaching. Remember, we mentioned the issue of coaching potential. Yeah, coaching potential. So it's about positioning and empowering others to function better and maximize the impact together. So you position and then be able to help them. So coaching leadership style, this is where a leader is directly involved in the development of the people and also seeking to advance them in terms of personal or professional growth. And a coaching leader helps people build on their strength. Coaching will always try to look at how you can build on your strength, while we recognize the weaknesses and improve in the skills. So coaching is about what strength am I seeing in this person? How can I position this person? Or how can I empower this person to perform well in that particular position? So good leaders, as we talk about coaching, we're saying good leaders position themselves, great leaders position others, but ultimate leaders or coach leaders empower others. And great leaders do not set out to be leaders, they set out to make a difference. Yeah, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. That's according to Jack Welch. Yeah. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously also give other people permission to do the same. Nelson Mandela. So it's about coaching the team, positioning the people, seeing where they can perform well, empowering them to be able to perform in that particular space as they should be. Then John Maxwell says leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in a leader's absence. So leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others, their ability to coach others, ability to be able to position others to perform well, and also to be able to bring them to the limelight of leadership. Okay, so coaching is a very, very important aspect when it comes to leadership. And we're saying leadership is unlocking people's potential to become better. And this is the role of a coach leader, unlocking people's potential to become better. Now, the fifth one, let's look at the fifth one. Leadership is influence, and we influence through inspiration, And also this is motivated by passion because we are anchored on a vision. So to achieve this, just to look at a few thoughts of some of the leaders that have spoken about this issue of influence. One, we have Mandy Gibbons claim. He says that leadership is having a vision, sharing that vision, and inspiring others to support your vision while creating their own. That's what brings influence, because influence is a byproduct of something. And one of that element that brings influence is vision. Yeah. And there's another source here, an online resource, that a man without a vision for his future always return to his past. Is not inspirational. There are times you sit with a leader and that leader does not really take you to the future, does not project you, because a future is something that we are anticipating, and it's always something beautiful, something that we are describing. So that is a pull to be able to move us forward, and this is also what creates inspiration. Stan Kimmer, effective leadership is providing the vision and motivation to a team so they work together towards the same goal, and then understanding the talents and temperaments of each individual and effectively motivating each person to contribute individually their best to achieving the group goal. So influence, we look at influence from the vision, from the motivation, and from other elements that a leader is able to bring into the space of leadership. I'll just mention again one more on the influence by Dr. Miles Monroe. He says that leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration. So the influence comes through inspiration, and the inspiration comes from the passion, and passion comes from that clarity of the vision and the conviction, and also the issue of clarity in terms of purpose. So you see where influence is coming in the sequence of what Dr. Miles Monroe has been able to highlight there. So a leader is one who sees more than others see, who sees further than others see, and who sees before others see. This leader is influential. This leader is able to influence others. Now, leaders, let me pause here for 2 minutes just to look at the 5 dimensions of leadership. If we can probably have just 2 reflections, maybe on what is standing out clear for you. If we are to pause here, maybe what will be your take home on these 5 dimensions of leadership that we have discussed. Let's pause for 2 minutes, and then we'll handle and clear the others as we bring this to a close. So let me open it up just to reflection. Then you can unmute and share, or just share on the chat. So any volunteers? Yeah, any comments on the 5? I hope we are also together.
My contribution is about empowerment and positioning others to function better and maximize impact. And this is really great, but I think most leaders don't get to this level.
Mm-hmm.
We are ever in our number 1 and 2 and 3. And then maybe I don't know whether there is the feeling of inferiority that somebody can emerge better than you are. So you want to just bottle them up, people up, so that you still remain at the top. so that you can remain with a title. So for a leader to be able to do number 4, then this should be a selfless leader, maybe a servant leader. So that is what was coming in my mind. And the lifestyle. Also the lifestyle, I think leaders, we are not able to differentiate the lives of a leader and self. But it is clear that you are a leader all the time. Should be able to guide people all the time, point out mistakes and guide people in the right direction. Because sometimes when we are leaders, we want to be, I don't know whether I'm bringing it right. We want to be friendly. So we don't want to point out mistake from your colleagues. You want to just be quiet so that you can probably fit in the group. So as a leader, I think it's a task to do. It's a calling, and we need a lot of empowerment to be able to stand out these points. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Milka. Probably someone else, even if we are to engage around what Milka has pointed out, or if someone can add on that, or also take your own perspective, we can have one more. But I like that. That's something that we can actually even discuss further, what you have pointed out.
Okay, I think it's indeed true that to get a leader who's able to push the others to be their best and stand in the shadows is really hard nowadays. It's not hard, but it is rare to come to come and get such a person, because now it essentially means that probably this person would most people would feel as if now this other person is now becoming better than them and will take the limelight from him who is a leader. I also tend to think that sometimes it may be hard for a leader to fit in both, as in be part of the team and really understand how the team is working, and also probably be in management and separate separate the two groups, being that in management you're supposed to like effect what the management wants to be done in the organization, and as a team member in the operational level, you're supposed to actually execute what the management wants. And sometimes you might find that some team members might want to veer off the path that it should be taken, and they would want also that this is not revealed to the management. So it really becomes a bit difficult at times, because as in sticking on the right lane and just trying to be with your team members, and at the same time represent the management's interests. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, true. Thank you, Brian. There's a thin line there. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more one contribution. Good. I think we can still engage, or even on the chat. But I appreciate. Actually, there is a thin line, a very, very thin line between being a selfless leader and being a secure leader and an insecure leader. It's a very thin line, and crossing that line is not easy. I remember there are times I've engaged with probably some people, and they ask me, are you not fearing giving out all the materials and all this information and all this knowledge? Because at the end of it all, we transition everything, all the PowerPoints and everything. And some have actually been asking me, are you not fearing that these people can, maybe someone can use it for other, for their own benefit? But again, I think I also ask myself, I don't know how long I have an opportunity to serve these people. Yeah, we are all living in the hands of God. It's God who knows our space. And therefore, that one day that I have, I think I should not reserve anything. I should be able to do it and serve it fully. Yeah, serve it fully, serve and equip the people fully without some hidden playing cards, without having some baits. But it's about equipping people fully, so that if this is the only opportunity I have, then I will be able to say that I took that opportunity wholeheartedly and I serve it maximally. So crossing this line of insecurity and security is a very thin space, and it's a thin space, but it's a very challenging, a very challenging transition. And I am sure we are appreciating that this is something that we need to talk about more and more, because as we talk about it, first we are talking to ourselves. We are trying to see, where am I? And I think that conscious, even that that thinking that leadership is a lifestyle, it makes me consciously be the leader everywhere, be the leader at whatever time that I know. Even when I'm talking to my child, I'm the leader here, and I need to offer leadership. So there's that conscious feeling that if there's something that needs to be handled, if there's an initiative that needs to be handled, that consciousness that I am a leader throughout, it really positions me to be able to rise to the occasion when there is a gap that needs to be filled. So Milka, I feel you. I clearly see from which the message you are passing across is something that all of us, I think, we feel it. And if we are to all of us open our hearts here, we'll say at a personal level, and also the leaders that we're interacting with, there's a challenge on that, along that line. And that's why we are coming out ourselves, and we are saying this is the leader that we want to be. We want to be a leader that can be able to consciously see how to demonstrate these dimensions in our leadership. I think the rest will share our reflection at the end. At the end of this once I conclude the remaining ones, we can share our reflection as well as we bring it to a close. Now, number 6, the 6th dimension is that leadership is a privilege. It's a privilege. This is one of the messages that I like sharing, especially to voluntary leaders. Those leaders that are community leaders, those leaders that are in the church, so that we take that opportunity, we take that leadership as an opportunity and as a privilege. It's not a burden, but it's an opportunity that has been entrusted to us. Again, today when we were discussing, we were asking ourselves, who are we accountable to? Who are we accountable to? At the end of the day, think about, even if it's in an organization, who am I accountable to? Even if I'm serving maybe in a community, in a community center, I'm serving in a non-profit organization, I'm serving in a church, who am I accountable to? That can change the whole thinking about my leadership and my attitude about my leadership. If I get it right, if I get my accountability, the person that I'm accountable to clearly, it shifts everything. It shifts my perspective of how I serve. It's a privilege. And we are saying the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. That is Ralpha Nada. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not followers. Are we producing more leaders? Are we creating a space where people are becoming leaders? Are you in an environment where there is that encouragement of equipping people so that they become better leaders? That's the true function of a leader. And a secure leader will always be surrounded by leaders. Yeah, John Maxwell talks about the levels of a leader in terms of probably if you're offering the highest level of leadership, you're very secure. Maybe you can be given a ranking of 10, and then the least secure leader, or the leaders that probably are starting to grow up in terms of skills and other aspects, maybe they can be at level 1. So if I'm a secure leader at level 10, I'll want to have leaders of level 9 and level 8 around me. But if I'm an insecure leader, maybe I'm a leader at level 5, I want to have a leader at level 1. I need to ensure there is enough space because of my insecurity. But a very secure leader will want to have those high-performing leaders around them. And I think as we continue to engage on this, as we continue to get more enlightenment on this, and also continue having that feeling that it's an opportunity, and we don't know how long we have this opportunity. There's something that I may be holding to for, I may be holding so tightly, but I don't know how long am I going to hold on to this. Yeah, so the better, the earlier I realize that I need to let it go so that it can empower other leaders, the better. So it's about empowering leaders. It's about producing more leaders. It's about creating a space where people are able to get into to the leadership, to reflect and demonstrate their leadership. I think I've really emphasized that. Jack Welch, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is about growing others. The true measure of a leader is how well or how I've been able to create an environment for other people to also become leaders. How many leaders have been able to rise up? How many leaders have been able to grow? That is my measure of leadership. That I've probably even created an environment where the transition, what we have labored for, someone else can be able to take care of. When we'll be talking about mentorship, that will be very important, because the only way I secure whatever I've worked for is by ensuring that I've mentored someone to take over, to secure that also. That person is able to grow it and secure others. I think I posed a question a while ago, and we were just asking ourselves, if Moses woke up and found Joshua had taken people back to Egypt, how would be the experience? Would he be happy? I'm sure no. But if he had woken up and seen that Joshua completed the race and even did more than he did, he'd be very excited. And that's a secure, a true leader wants, actually the coming leaders to be able to do more, If you had a company, you left a company operating in Kenya, hand it over and see a company is performing globally, you feel that, yes, we have been successful. That's the thinking of a true leader. Now, number 7 is becoming your best at your craft. This one I just not emphasize so much, but I think Dr. Geoffrey Griffins, said something that is really touching, and let me just read this quote. He said that the world is full of people who do their duty half-heartedly, grudgingly, and poorly. Don't be like them. This world is full of people who do their duty half-heartedly, grudgingly, and poorly. Don't be like them. This is about mastery. It's about excellent service. It's about giving it to my very best. This is also how we influence as leaders. And Martin Luther King Jr., this quote that actually speaks volume. He says that if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets, even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry, because these are people that when they are mentioned, we actually know what they did. Their level of excellence, yeah, he should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here live. Okay, sorry for that. Yes, so he should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well, who did his job wholeheartedly. If someone comes to my space where maybe I work, or even to my family, wherever I am, I don't know if this statement can be said about me, or it can be said about you. And this is mastery, where we didn't reserve anything, but we gave it our best. Again, Geoffrey William Griffin, the former director of Staré, says, if you are given a coffee cup to wash it than it has ever been washed. It's about becoming your best at your craft. That's another dimension of leadership. Number 8 is becoming an agent of hope. Remember when you're talking about spiritual leaders, we said the role of the spiritual leader is to give hope, guidance, and also the faith, and help people to stay strong in their faith. So a leader is an agent of hope. The 8th dimension is about being an agent of hope, because a leader is a dealer in hope. And leaders instill in their people a hope for success and belief in themselves. Positive leaders empower people to accomplish their goals. Number 9, leadership is character. I may not say much about this because we'll talk about character later on. But it's about character. Character is the foundation stone upon which one must build to win respect. The highest level of leadership actually is the respect. Remember the 5 levels of leadership by John Maxwell that we discussed a while ago. And the highest level was pinnacle. And pinnacle level is where people respect you because of who you are. Who you are. The other levels, they have respected you because of what you have done for them, because of what you have done for the organization, because of your position. But at this level, they respect you because of the life that you live, the life that you have been able to demonstrate. And character is one of that quality. Yeah, it's the foundation stone upon which we build to win respect. Just as no worthy building can be erected on a weak foundation, so no lasting reputation worthy of respect can be built on a weak character. Character is very key to leadership, and this is a very, very important dimension of leadership when you're looking at leadership in terms of the 11th dimension. So no man can climb or even lead beyond the limitation of his own character. And in the last analysis, what we are communicates far more eloquently than anything we say or do. In the last analysis, what we are communicates more eloquently than anything we say or do. I was in a particular session a while ago, and one of the speakers there was Dr. Yong Cho from South Korea, and I could feel when that man was speaking, he didn't really speak much. He was not very strong at that time, but when he was speaking, those 5 minutes were were very, very precious to everyone. The room was quiet, everybody was very keen, the media was focused, and the man just spoke for 5 minutes, and I was like, why all this? The man didn't say much, but the attention, but the eagerness. And at that life, I realized one thing. It was not about what this man was saying, but it was about the life that he had lived. So he didn't even need to say much because his life was speaking volumes. When other speakers came, they were speaking for 1 hour, speaking for long. But I think the concentration was not as much as when we were listening to this man just for 5 minutes. So at some point in life, actually the volume of our life is amplified by our lifestyle. And one of the key component is the character, the issue of character. So allow me not to say much on this because we'll talk about this later on. And number 10, the second last, is that leadership is transformation. And transformational leadership is about moving people beyond the immediate self-interest. So you want to stretch people probably from looking at the short term to the long term. You want to stretch people maybe from just looking at maybe their self-interest to the bigger interest of the community, or the bigger interest, or the greater call, or the greater purpose of leadership. So how do they do this? They do this through idealized influence. This is becoming purpose-driven or role model, or they walk the talk. Yeah, they also become inspirational. They are able to inspire the followers. That is inspirational motivation. And also individualized consideration. They're able to focus on people and have a genuine concern for the needs of followers. And I like looking at the life of Jesus from these eyes, where as much as he was on high demand, people were following him. He could be able to really create a space where he can focus on a person, can focus on a blind person and deal with that person, can focus on the children and clearly have a conversation of the moment without losing focus. So individualized consideration and then intellectual stimulation. They encourage innovation. They challenge people to be more creative, to be more innovative. And this is how transformational leaders are able actually to drive transformation, by being idealized influence, purpose-driven or role model, inspiring the people, showing genuine concerns for the people, and also encouraging creativity and innovation. Lastly, is that leadership is strategy. Leadership is strategy. The ability of the leader to be able to forecast the future of the organization and direct the people or motivate the people towards that direction. So strategy here, we are saying providing direction, setting the strategy towards that direction, also making sure that there is morale, there are alliances, we are able to create collaboration, and more importantly, we're able to develop, we're able to secure tomorrow, develop tomorrow's leaders through succession planning and also a long-term view. That's strategic leadership. That's the 11th dimension. So these are the 11 dimensions of leadership: self-leadership, servanthood, lifestyle, coaching, influence, privilege, mastery, the agent of hope, leader, the character, strategy, and transformation. Those are the 11 dimensions. And as we look at this, actually now it gives us a picture of leadership without looking at it just from a single definition of leadership. Now, what are the common elements? We see self-awareness is important. Vision and purpose, clarifying vision and purpose is very important. These are elements that are repeated in definitions. And then influence, and this has to be through inspiration, not manipulation. And passionate commitment to a vision and purpose. Again, communication, very important, because when we capture a vision, then we need to declared. Coaching has come in handy. Character has come very strong as the foundation, and also that ambidexterity, where we're able to coordinate, look at the long-term interest, as we also help people to maybe move from just the self-interest to a longer, having a long view of the future. Now, the leadership development process, from what we have talked about, we can see we start from self-knowledge. Then we move on to be able to connect to a purpose. Yeah. Then we capture vision. Then the vision makes us inspirational. Then from that, we are able to influence. Now, influence is coming at the end in the terms of this leadership development process. So we are influencing because we have had self-awareness, we are focused, we are in our strength, we are tapping into our resources. And this has helped us to be able to be clear in our purpose, and we've been able to capture a precise vision. And that vision makes us become inspirational, and then we are able to influence the people. So I want to say this, that as we look towards this journey, remember we started from this definition, which I'm sure it's part of the discussion that we have had tonight, that leadership is influenced through inspiration by becoming our authentic self. Self-awareness, becoming authentic self, so that we can maximize our potential and serve our purpose to positively impact humanity as we help others to do the same. And the only way we can authenticate leadership is by service. And if you talk anything about greatness, it has to be a product of servanthood. So leaders, that's a long journey. We just really wanted to walk through this and just create this picture of the dimensions of leadership, and let them be our mirror as we reflect on what we have discussed tonight. The best model of leadership is the mirror kind of leadership, where you're able to mirror this leadership or mirror these dimensions, and we're able to allow others to also see themselves through us, and see how they can also better their leadership. So look at the challenge here. We have identified some common elements of leadership. So identify elements that you feel you need to work on, so that you can probably point them out, and then intentionally see, how do I grow in this particular dimensions of leadership. So I'll incorporate this in this week's self-evaluation. Then you can take some time just to look at this. So thank you so much. I know it has been a long night, but I'm sure we've been able to pick a few things that we can run with. And as we bring this to a close, maybe we can take two reflections. As we prepare to take two reflections, I want to request that next week, we are requesting those of us who are attending the Saturday class. Today we have someone from the Tuesday class with us, that is Ruth Karaoke. So I'm requesting the Saturday team that next week, kindly let us join the Tuesday class, because we are having a retreat on Saturday, and we may not be able to have a class on that day. Sometimes we might leave late, so it might be hard to coordinate the class. So Saturday team, kindly create some space on Tuesday so that we can have one session on Tuesday next week, cohort 18 and cohort 19. I'll also share that on the group so that we can be able to prepare. I don't know again how you are faring on with the project proposal. So I request the interim leaders, that's Bellidina and Milka, just to be able to probably mention where you are and what you've been able to do this far. So first, let me allow any reflection before Bellidina and Milka they share their progress. So any reflection on the discussion of tonight, both from lesson 9 and lesson 10? Yeah, Milka, I see you are saying it was good. We could continue. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so let me invite Beldina and Milka just to be able to share any comment about their teams, and if there is any progress you've been able to make this far, please just mention.
For me, okay, the take home that I have is leadership is a lifestyle. And then about the project, we have not really made much progress. We formed the WhatsApp group, but there was a bit of a challenge in terms of the work schedules that we had. So we have not made any tangible progress. We floated ideas in terms of we need to work on the project, but there's nothing tangible yet that I could report on. Hopefully this week we should be able to come up at least with an area, agree on which area we are going to be looking at. But as of now, we do not have any topic that we've settled on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Beldina. Milka?
Okay, so far so good. We were able to do the initial task, that is warming up with George and Marion, engaging, but through the phone. As Beldina has said, we also apologize that we have not done much because one of us had a challenge with the technology, that is George. So however much I wanted us to meet even virtually, I realized that we had that challenge, but I'm still pursuing as a leader, and I will inspire them so that we can do this task. So let me also give us this 1 week, and then we see how far we will be able to go. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Milka and Beldina. So as you think through, this is the framework. So remember we said that we are looking at the external environment, what gaps are there, what challenges are there, what needs are there, or also what opportunities are there. And as we try to align this with the internal environment in terms of the strength, the potential, so that we can create a bridge. That bridge is what we are calling the project proposal. This is a need that we have identified, and this is the what we feel that we have that can be able to meet this need. So you can look at it at a personal level, then share amongst yourself, and then you can pick one idea and run with as a team. The most important task is to be able to clearly define the problem. Clearly define the problem. And I'll refer you to lesson 2 on leadership gap, because that is where we define the gap, the problem statement for this masterclass. So this masterclass is here to be able to fill a leadership gap. And you can be able to see we did some research, what different papers said about leadership. Then from there, we actually able to paint a picture that truly this is an area that needs to be addressed. So that's what we also want to see, that you have been able to clearly define the problem, support it where necessary with some statistics, with some resources, so that we can clearly be able to see the picture. These 5 W's and 1 H, it's important they come, but they will come a long way as we continue along the way. Who are we targeting? What specifically are we going to do in terms of the objectives? Maybe we are going to launch this project. Where are we going to start? What are the timelines? Again, why is this project important, and how are we going to to implement it in terms of methodology. So as we continue with the discussions, we'll be able to address this 5W and the 1H along the way. So as I mentioned, we'll build around this. We'll have a background, just a brief history, because it's good to paint a picture of what we are talking about and what has been done, and where now we want to upscale this, and then the problem statement as I've outlined, and why is this project very important to us or to you as a team? What is the significance? What is motivating you? And then the objectives, we said not more than 3. 3 is maximum. And the methodology, a budget and an action plan, and then conclusion and recommendation. So there is a template that I'll share with you, the PowerPoint template. So you'll just be fitting within that template, and that is what will also guide us as our final project proposal. So for the methodology, you can decide to do a survey if need be. You can just do literature review. You can also do some interview or focus group discussions if necessary, and also benchmarking with other similar projects so that you can pick some best practices and probably also lessons learned that can inform what we are also undertaking. So this is what will guide us. For now, the most important and what we require from you is that clarity in terms of the problem statement and also the objectives. So let's discuss about those next week on Tuesday, so that now we start building on that, because from the experience, from now henceforth, time just flies. Before we know it, it will be over. So let's try to see how we can be able to run with from this point henceforth, and see how we can stretch so that we achieve the objective of the project proposal and the masterclass at large. Otherwise, leaders, from my end, I just want to appreciate all of you for your consistency, for your resilience, and it's also the eagerness to learn. Let's keep it up and always see something that you can share with your leaders in the coming week from what we have been able to discuss tonight. So unless there is any comment or observation, I want to bring this to a close. Okay, I think we are good. So I request that we unmute and just share the words of grace as we bring this to a close. Okay, may the grace
of our Lord Jesus Christ,
right,
the love of God,
and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen.
Have
Good
a
night,
blessed
all.
night, everyone.
Night.